Welcome. This is Annuity News Now. My guest is the personal finance editor with MarketWatch and the Wall Street Journal, Andrea Coombes, who writes a recent article on a new study that, big surprise here, retirees and those close to retirement are filled with fear and uncertainty about what their retirement is going to hold for them. Andrea, welcome.
Thank you.
This study is indicative of what I've been reading a lot lately. Obviously, the economy has played a big part here, but there's other processes going on. What does the study show?
Really, that people are just very uncertain, very unclear of what the future, in terms of what their retirement will bring. These are people who are either near retirement or in retirement, and even those in retirement just have not clearly mapped out the financial picture for the years ahead. And they're very nervous. People talked about having night sweats, being unable to sleep, and others were more sort of just wishful thinking. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm sure it'll all work out for the best. So it's sort of a range there.
Does this seem like a new development, or is this just something that's been going on for quite a while and now has kind of come to a head because of the economy?
In some ways, I would say it's a new development in that a lot of these people, we've really moved into the 401k sphere. Far fewer people these days have traditional pensions. So I think in some ways, it's a lot of the uncertainty is related to that. People who were lucky enough to have a traditional pension in the past, of course, had the benefit of having their income stream, delineated by that pension, whereas now with the 401k, people are on their own. They're not sure how to create the income stream, and of course, a lot of people too just simply haven't saved enough. So there's a variety of factors, and as you mentioned, the economic downturn, of course, hit a lot of 401ks and other investments really hard. So that's playing into it as well.
Would it be safe to say too that people with 401ks with an employer, for example, you really have to work a little harder in order to find out information about what's in your retirement plan, what's in your account? What should you do with it? Because I guess the administrators probably haven't had much good news lately and probably don't want to talk to you.
That's a good point. I think I would say it varies somewhat by plan. You're going to find different, some employers are better at communicating with their employees. And I think in general, it's not that hard to find out what's in your plan, but just a lot of people just don't do it. They maybe don't know that they should be doing it, that they need to be planning ahead. Maybe they're just not being proactive enough. But in terms of finding out, your account balance and the like, that's not hard. Finding out how to create, what to do when you retire, how to create that retirement income stream, that is a little bit more challenging. Employers are, there's a lot of fiduciary responsibilities there that they may not be ready to take on in terms of, for instance, offering an annuity within the plan itself or offering other advice with regard to how to create an income stream. So it is, in a lot of ways, people with 401ks are more on their own than people with traditional pensions. And these people with 401ks really have to, ideally, a number of years before retirement, sit down and figure out what they're going to do with that lump sum when they retire. How are they going to manage that money?
You also say that this fear has kind of caused a bit of paralysis, where many people who, on the surface look like they've planned pretty well, don't do anything.
That's right. It's true. The survey specifically talked to a few people who had done everything right leading up to retirement, but then when they retired, weren't sure what to do. And part of that is because the decisions you make, some of them are permanent. You decide when to take Social Security, and that's there used to be an ability to do a do-over with Social Security benefits, but that's largely been eradicated. So now you take your benefits, and that's the monthly benefit you're going to get for the rest of your life. So some of these decisions have permanent implications, and I think that can hinder people. In fact, some of the people in the survey said that they're just not sure what was the right move. And at the same time, the survey found that people are really nervous about trusting financial advisors. They've heard a lot about scams. A lot of people think that the advisor is there to make him or herself money rather than protect the client's money, and that's really a problem when you have people unsure what they're supposed to do with the money and afraid of trusting their money with an advisor. It's kind of a bad combination there, because at this point, when you're retiring with you've got this account and you need to figure out how you're going to make the money last through retirement, generally it makes, most people could use the services of a pro and when those questions need to be answered. Yeah,
it certainly makes sense to get professional help, but then you have this catch-22 here where because a lot of people offhand will just say, well, can you find a fee-based person? And if you look at a fee-based person as compared to like a commission, the fee-based person may say, well, your account's under $1 million, I don't have time for you. And that's something that's probably pretty common in the financial industry. What are some of the solutions that people can get to, for example, when they're past the accumulation phase and are starting to look at building an income stream?
The first stop, I would say, is do talk to your employer. If you have a workplace plan, talk to your employer about what sorts of services they might offer. More employers are inching into that area. I'd say there's certainly a lot of products being offered to employers that they could offer to their employees, but there's been some hesitancy there. It's moving slowly, but still ask your employer if they can, what sort of tools or advice that might be available through the plan. There are some places where you can go if you have a smaller balance. And it's funny that you mentioned this because in the survey, they did find a lot of the people had, a balance, maybe it was under $100,000 in their account, and they really felt like this is a small amount of money. People just basically they felt like they were being laughed at if they went to an advisor and were seeking services. It just was they were sort of ashamed of their small account balance. But there are some places that will that focus on people with smaller account balances. There's and I believe we're probably going to see more of this as more and more people start retiring with 401ks. But there's one website I know of called smart401k.com where you pay an annual fee and they help you manage your money, and it's not based on account balance. So and then again, yes, there are advisors out there who will work with people with smaller balances. You just have to look around, but it is tough. It's not easy. A lot of the people in this survey were relying on friends and family for advice, which may or may not be a good idea, depending on who those people are.
Would it be safe to say, finally, that more of these plans are beginning to offer annuity products or annuity-like products for income stream, which could, give people, I guess, some sort of safety that they want, but still have their money protected?
There is definitely a lot of sort of marketing around annuities right now towards employers, and some employers definitely do offer that as an option, and it can be, certainly annuities are a way to create an income stream in retirement. Whether that's the right product for any individual it's really going to vary depending on the person and the annuity product too. But certainly some employers do, if they don't offer an annuity within the plan, they do offer a platform where the employee can find an annuity that's outside of the plan. You purchase it with your 401k funds, but it's not actually part of the plan. But so there are these options out there, and people definitely need to explore them, and if possible, start looking a few years before retirement, not when you're about to start drawing down that money. You need to really plan ahead and figure it out. And for a lot of people, it might mean working longer and delaying their Social Security benefits, sort of preserving those savings until they really can't work any longer. But it's tough. There's no easy answer to these questions.
But the message is here: get professional help, and maybe start thinking about this a lot earlier than you think you should.
Yes, definitely.
My guest again is Andrea Coombes. She is personal finance editor with MarketWatch and the Wall Street Journal, and she writes a lot. You can find her articles all over the internet. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Scott Drake, and you're watching Annuity News Now.